Hello and happy Sunday. It's weird being here doing Midday Missing on Sunday. Thank you for those of you that are watching live and for those who watch on the crew or listening on the podcast. I wanted to do this show that I missed on Wednesday due to the fact I had a wicked migraine. And I didn't want to push these cases or any of our upcoming cases because these cases are important for us to share. Okay. And if you're new here, welcome. I am Teri True Crime, and welcome to Midday Missing, where we highlight current missing person cases that my dogs want to give their 2 cents on in the background that need more attention. Now, I live stream every Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, True Crime and Wine Time, our Facebook page, Kick, and I am doing it on TikTok, Teri True Crime, on a separate device since I still don't have enough followers to stream it through StreamYard. So, hello over in the chat. I have to say, I crack up every time. I don't know what to put there, so I put this name. That just cracks me up every time. And hello, the beautiful Sammy Sunshine. And then we've got Pam over on Kick. So, hello. And it looks like Angie's over on TikTok. Thank you, guys. It means a lot. Now, guys, if you need more of me and Llama, my co-host, you can always find us doing something on our True Crime and Wine Time YouTube channel. Guys, we have True Crime and Wine Time. We have Couch Court with Llama. Right now in Couch Court, Tuesday, Monday, I forget, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, I think. Llama is doing the Laura Owens court docs. It is bizarre. Buffy has popped on. We could have some other people pop on. You don't want to miss it. And if you don't know anything about the Laura Owens case, you need to go watch over on our YouTube channel, the replays, and you need to watch because she gives the term bunny boiler a whole new meaning. I say we have to find a new name for her. Okay. Now, if you become a member on our YouTube channel, we have several levels with our first starting at just 99 cents. As a channel member, you will get exclusive content, special emojis, happy hours with me and Llama, or coffee chats, and much more depending on the level. We even have a level where we send out merch quarterly. And it's merch that once you can only get it if you're a member. Okay. It's not like we're going to sell those items. So you should check it out. If you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell on whatever platform you're on so that you'll know when we go live or when we drop a new episode. If you're listening over on the podcast app, please, I just got told that my audio is not working on TikTok. Thank you for letting me know. Hopefully that is working now. I forgot to turn on the secondary mic. That's why I really need to get enough followers so that we can do it all through one platform. Plus, if you're watching on TikTok, you don't get to see the visuals that are being shown over on the other streams. Okay. Now, what I was saying, if you're listening on the podcast apps, please download, leave us a review. It helps others find our show. Guys, we are headed to Hawaii. This happens to be one of my favorite places to visit for many, many reasons. I even had planned on having my ashes spread in Lanai, which is on the island of Maui, but then they had fires and it devastated the island, so I had to pick another favorite spot. Hopefully, they will get things back in place before I die. I need to stick around a little bit. Hawaii is a unique American state. It is made up of islands in the middle of the Pacific with a population of just over 1.4 million. Now, people living there, they're living across its volcanic landscapes and tropical shores, with Honolulu in Oahu as its largest urban center. Guys, if you've never been, Each island has its own personality. Trust me, they're all different. While it's often known for its beauty and aloha spirit, the state also faces serious challenges with people going missing. Hawaii typically and historically has had some of the highest numbers in the state for missing person cases per capita. And communities across all of the islands continue to work with law enforcement and families when someone disappears. Currently, they have listed 264 active missing person cases that are being worked on by law enforcement. It's a lot considering the size of the islands. It's a lot. Alexander Gumm was 25 years old when he arrived on the island of Kauai in February of 2018. He arrived quietly. He left almost no digital trail. And within days, he vanished completely. In an era where disappearing without a trace is becoming increasingly rare, Alexander managed to do exactly that. Guys, if you're new here, you haven't heard this before, but people don't just get beamed up to the sky by aliens. It is hard to go missing without any trace. That is why the Nancy Guthrie case has me baffled, but that's a whole different story. Alexander was originally from North Berwick, Maine. According to his family, in the months leading up to his departure for Hawaii, his behavior had begun to change significantly. He withdrew from his social circle, and he took what his parents described as a vow of silence toward them and others. Alexander had long been creative and artistic. He was a skateboarder and a graffiti artist. That is talent, guys. I know we see it and we're like, oh, why did you do that? There are some talented people, okay? He played pianos, drums, and guitar. He also wrote lyrics and performed in a band. For years, he wanted to be a professional musician and frequently traveled to California while working odd jobs in Maine between his trips. Shortly before his disappearance, Alexander began to reject the idea of fame and fortune altogether. He had traveled to India and spent extensive time researching religion, spiritualism, healing herbs, and natural supplements. He also adopted a very strict vegan diet and lost a lot of weight. He isolated himself in his room, meditating for long periods of time, and he refused to even eat meals with his parents. At the time he went missing, he was said he did not use alcohol or drugs. In February of 2018, Alexander left Maine and traveled to Hawaii, telling his parents he was going to seek enlightenment. When he arrived on Kauai, Alexander checked into the Kauai Beach House Hostel. He stayed there for 2 days. During that time, he contacted 2 cab companies, once on February 22nd and one on February 23rd, but neither company has a record of picking him up. Yes, hippie lifestyle, a little bit. His last known phone call was placed from the hostel on February 24th, 2018. Guys, after that, Alexander Gumm has never been heard from again. When he traveled to Hawaii, he carried only cash. His bank account, which contained nearly $8,000, has never been accessed since the day he went missing. His family believes he may have been seeking out Buddhist or Hindu monks on Kauai, hoping to withdraw from society and pursue spiritual enlightenment. Sorry, guys. The allergies in Texas are unhinged right now with the winds, unhinged. Now, the spiritual enlightenment, they said that theory aligns with what his hometown friends later discovered. Friends who accessed the computer of Alexander that he had left behind says his final Google searches focused on how to forage wild plants and how to find drinking water. They believe he traveled to Kauai with the intention of living a solitary, off-the-grid life. In late 2019, Alexander's friends traveled to Hawaii to search for him. During their efforts, they learned that he may have been seen camping and may have purchased some camping gear. Some of his friends believe Alexander may have gone to the Kalula Valley area to live off the grid. He may not want to be found. One friend who lived with Alexander in LA while they were pursuing music careers together said that Alexander's behavior had become increasingly erratic. At one point, Alexander believed he was a descendant of extraterrestrial beings from Lemura, the mythical birthplace of civilization. Okay, that's different. During a music performance, he reportedly believed he was going to ascend into another universe and was visibly disappointed when it didn't happen. Sounds like he may have also been struggling with some mental health issues, which usually come to light in 18 to 25-year-old range. Despite these concerns, Alexander's family continues to hope that he is alive and possibly still on Kauai, choosing isolation and spiritual withdrawal over contact. Alexander is a white male with brown hair and hazel or brown eyes. Shortly before his disappearance, he did shave his hair into a buzz cut, meaning his hair may be much shorter than in the photos we're showing, or since this has been a bit, it could have grown out. He has an 8-inch tattoo of the Kundalini, I think that's how you say it, Kundalini, staff of life on the inside of his left forearm, along with a sun tattoo on the same arm. He also has a tattoo of a blue eye on his right hand. He has been known to use the name Alexander Johnson, okay, and that is spelled Johnsun, so a little bit different. His disappearance is part of a broader pattern of missing person cases in Hawaii. Some individuals travel to the islands intentionally seeking escape from modern life. Others arrive in emotional crisis. And some disappear under circumstances that suggest darker possibilities. Guys, the scary thing is someone may want to desert their life and then something nefarious happen. Unfortunately, they can be targets for the bad people. If Alexander is alive and living quietly, his family wants him to know they are waiting, still hoping, and still searching. If you have seen Alexander, if you recognize his tattoos, or if you've encountered someone using the name Alexander Johnson, please contact the Kauai Police Department at 808-241-1711. Guys, his family just wants to know he's okay and that he's doing fine. If you know of someone or you have a loved one missing and you're interested in having their story featured on an upcoming episode of Midday Missing, or if they want to join us live for an interview, contact us by emailing me, Teri at tcwtmedia.com, or you can contact us through any of our social media accounts. We're out there everywhere under True Crime and Wine Time, as well as Teri True Crime. So Richard Paul Agor was a devoted father who vanished from the island of Kauai and has not been seen or heard from since June of 2013. Richard, who often went by Agor, was 33 years old at the time of his disappearance. He is a biracial Asian and Hispanic male. He's got Filipino and Puerto Rico descent. He stood 5 feet 2 inches, and weighed approximately 165 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. On the day he disappeared, Richard was last seen wearing a tan t-shirt, khaki cargo shorts, and boots. Richard does suffer from schizophrenia and requires medication, which he did not have with him at the time he went missing. While he is not considered dangerous to others, those who know him have expressed serious concern that without treatment, his illness could place him in danger. Investigators believe he may have been experiencing a psychotic episode when he disappeared. Richard has several distinctive tattoos. On his right arm are the words Jamie's Boy. On his lower back is a tattoo of the Hawaiian Islands. On his upper left arm is a black four-pointed tribal star with the yin-yang symbol in the center. Richard was last seen at the Eleele Shopping Center on the island of Kauai on June 8, 2013. He was there with his ex-wife and their 4 young children. According to his ex-wife, Richard was talking funny at the time, which raised concern. After that encounter, Richard has never been seen again. Later, his brand new cell phone was found at the shopping center. His backpack had been left behind in his ex-wife's car. These are important details because they kind of suggest he didn't plan to walk away or leave to start a new life elsewhere. He left behind essential belongings, his communication tool, and access to his children. Guys, as I said earlier, bad things can happen when you're out and about doing everyday things. But if you're having a mental crisis and you're in a psychotic episode, you can fall victim very easily to people wanting to do nefarious things. Now, after Richard was reported missing, in the weeks that followed, there were unconfirmed sightings of him in the local area through that August. None could be verified. At the time he went missing, Richard did have outstanding warrants for contempt of court and a restraining order violation. However, investigators have stressed and stated these charges would not have resulted in a custodial sentence. They do not believe he was trying to run from the law. Those are simple charges. Richard had separated from his wife more than a year before his disappearance, but he remained close to his children and was involved in their everyday lives. And those relationships were deeply important to him. In the period leading up to his disappearance, Richard's sister and her husband had invited him to come live with them in North Carolina. But he was hesitant. He didn't want to leave his children. But his friends told them he was excited about the upcoming move. He had decided to make that decision to go there so he could stabilize his life. His family does not believe Richard would have intentionally left without warning or cut off contact, especially given his mental health condition. Richard has strong wilderness survival skills. He enjoyed hunting pigs and fishing, and he knew the land well. However, guys, those skills do not explain why he would disappear entirely. He had stopped working after being diagnosed with schizophrenia in 2011 and experienced homelessness for a time before moving in with his grandmother. He did have friends within the homeless community. They haven't seen him either, and his total silence is deeply concerning. Since Richard disappeared, there's been no activity on his bank account. He hadn't withdrawn any money. He also missed his grandfather's funeral, something his family said he would not do by choice. He has not been located. His case remains unsolved today. There is a Facebook page dedicated to keeping his story alive and sharing updates. You can follow Richard Paul Agor is Missing if you're on Facebook. Read up on his case. It also lets the family know that he's not forgotten. If you have any information about the disappearance of Richard Paul Agor, please contact the Kauai Police Department at 808-241-1711. And you can even reference case number 2013-13187. Guys, just like Alexander, neither of them could go missing with nobody seeing. Somebody knows something. Somebody has seen something. Maybe they're still in a mental crisis. They're at a homeless encampment, or they're living off the grid and you've ran into them while hiking. Please take a look at their pictures. Okay. Richard mattered. His children are still waiting for answers. Alexander's family and friends are still waiting. They deserve to have answers. I want to ask you to please go to our social media pages. If you want, you can go straight to Midday Missing's Facebook page, or you can go to my TikTok page, Facebook page for Teri True Crime. Share their missing person posters. Not only does it help get the word out, it lets the family know that their loved ones are not forgotten. Okay. Also, guys, tips still come in from these. Okay. Tips still come in. Now, over on our Midday Missing Facebook page, we post all of our posters. We also post them on other social media channels. But the great thing about our Midday Missing Facebook page, we also share missing poster announcements that we have verified for other missing person cases. Just this morning, I personally shared on the Midday Missing a case about a little girl who was taken by somebody just this weekend. And then another case that is out of San Antonio that is important and needs to be shared. So please, go and check it out. Also, guys, you can also follow us on all of our social media platforms. I do crazy stuff over on TikTok. If you're watching on TikTok, you see that I do some crazy stuff. We do fun stuff over on our True Crime and Wine Time page. In fact, Lama and I are going to be doing some fun little videos there. So follow us so that you can see some of the crazy fun stuff. Okay. Now, want you guys to I guess I shouldn't share this because I realize I didn't change this, but just this past Thursday, because this was supposed to have been done on Wednesday, we did the final part 2 of a part 2 series of Maureen McDermott, Innocent on Death Row. I am going to tell you guys that you need to go and watch it on our YouTube channel. I have so many questions how this woman is still on death row. So many questions. So many questions about it. This coming Thursday, we will be starting a multi-part series of the Richard Hansen, known as the Alaska Baker case. It is insane. It is insane. And on Tuesday night, we are doing a special True Crime and Wine Time where we will have it on YouTube and Facebook, where we will have Nicole from Justice for Ruby on with us to share with us her story about justice for her sweet Ruby, who was her beloved dog that was shot and killed by her stepdad. So join us on Tuesday night for that. You'll be able to ask questions, okay? If you haven't become a member of our YouTube channel, you really should, because we have all sorts of amazing perks, including shows that are exclusive for our family members, for our members. As you see, they start at just 99 cents. And there's a lot there. Okay, guys, I think we definitely do a great job of giving all of the perks. Now, if you also want to show your support for us, check out our shop. We have a lot of great merch on tcwtmedia.com. We are even going to be dropping several new items coming up on Sunday in 1 week. And if you're a Cozy Crew or a Ride or Die member, you get sweet discounts that you can redeem however many times you want that month. Okay. And if you are part of our Cozy Crew or Ride or Die, you can find your discount codes over on our YouTube channel. Thank you all again for joining me on a Sunday. It feels great to be here on a Sunday, but feels a little weird at the same time. I want to ask all of you, until next time, please stay safe, stay aware. If you see something, say something. And let's help these families bring their loved ones home. Because, guys, no family member should have to go to bed at night wondering where their loved one is. Okay, guys, I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern when I will be back for Midday Missing. Take care, guys.